Hey everyone, hope you all are doing really well. In this particular session, we are getting started with professional ethics. Really important topic for the CMA examination also, and for your future, your career ahead. Professional ethics is really important in your day-to-day life too. Now, this professional ethics is not only for the management accountants, but also to all professionals out there, being it lawyers, doctors, police officers, or you take architects, engineers, everyone out there. It's really important to practice professional ethics. Now, before we get toward the content side of in the CMA examination, let me just share a few things about professional ethics and mainly ethics. See, ethics is something which is not taught in college or school, because ethics is like a theoretical concept. Okay, you can just read that theory concept, write it in the examination, and that will be done. That happened with me actually while I was studying also. Ethics is a theory topic. You can go ahead, learn it by yourself, and whatever the answers, these are the type of questions can come. You can learn it and give the answer. But the main purpose of ethics being included in our syllabus is that we practice ethics in our real life. And believe me, tomorrow in your career, or if suppose you're already working, you would have already seen the importance of ethics. Now, importance of ethics is not just by one or two person telling that we need to be ethical, we should follow ethical practices in business. It's that everyone should be, and everyone being ethical around is a big challenge. And why is that a big challenge? Is because ethics is not actually taught in a school or a college of how you need to practice ethics. Ethics comes with your upbringing itself, how you treat people, how you treat transactions, how do you treat dealings with people, how do you treat with on a regular basis of a contract which you have taken, or a sale or purchase order which you have taken. How do you deliver your duties with it? So your overall ethics comes up with what you have learned in your childhood, how you have been fed about it. You learn those things, and then you apply it in the organization. Now, when I say that, everybody has a different upbringing or different type of concepts which they have it in their mind, different type of dealing with people they have. Now, when these all people come and work in one organization, there are so many times happening ethical conflicts. So many times it happens that there are ethical conflicts between people. Now, I'm talking it in a more broader term, but once we get into the content, we'll go in a much detailed manner, so that you guys can understand that what type of questions can come in the examination, and what type of situations can come in front of you, and how you are going to manage it, how do you are going to clean that up, how you are going to avoid that particular situation, how are you actually going to put some precautionary measures so that you don't end up in that particular situation, an ethical situation. See, you would have been seeing across the social media people talking about that ethics is really important, karma will come back and hit you back. These all stuff are there already up available. But here we are going to talk about some professional ethics. So one more example, let me just tell you that a person who is going to do a fraud in the financial markets, or a fraud in an organization, or a person running an organization, if he is going to do a fraud, it is much bigger than a person who is just stealing something from outside. Physical stealing is a bit small when compared to this white collar or professional scams or stealing, which you guys can say. Now, those people who are going to learn all these concepts which you have been learning, like performance management, cost accounting, how do we cost a product, how do we market a product, how do we, boost a market, launch a product in a market, how do we make a product, and make sure that the ida rule is nothing but the awareness, interest, desire, and action. This is a marketing rule. You create the awareness, you create the interest, you create the desire, and then you take action. Like suppose, betting, gambling is something which is not ethical, which is not morally good in the society. But still, if you just see in there, games are getting played around the internet, or you see cricket is being played. I am a big fan. I do watch cricket. But while watching cricket, if you see there's an advertisement coming in that you can khelo dimag se, and you can actually bet on a particular match, you can predict and you can win some cash reward. So you're predicting something and then you are going to win something, and that's again gambling only. So you're creating an awareness, your interest, then there's a desire that yes, I also can do it, I can also predict what's going to happen next and I can win something. So the whole basis, your whole interest, your whole things revolve around those stuff which is not that productive. Okay, you're doing something which is not going to be that productive and that efficient in the market going forward. So a marketing campaign is made so that you can, go towards it. You can be habituated in doing that stuff only because that's the entry level, and then you go in more further. So there are many such examples in here that you learn stuff and you use it, and sometimes you abuse it and misuse it for your own benefit and for the loss of large people at large, not good for the society at large. So there are so many stuff which we are going to go through in this particular session. As I just said you that those people who know stuff and then they do wrong, do that's much bigger than a normal stealing or stuff. So let's get started with the session. I hope that you guys are following up with me. We have 2 small chapters in ethics. It's going to be 15% of your examination. At the end of the session, we'll be trying to do more MCQ questions. So let's get started right away. So here is the screen in front of me. If you can just see ethical considerations for management. See, business ethics, just a recall. Let me just, at least shut down my camera, or what can I do with this? Yeah, here. Business ethics, we are going to do the IMA Statement of Professional Ethics, Anti-Bribery Laws, FCPA, and UKBA, which is nothing but UK Bribery Act. We are going to talk about it. We are going to evaluate and apply it in different typical business situations. So why is business ethics required? Kind of, you should be ethical enough in delivering your responsibilities which you have taken up. You have to be concerned in what is right, what is wrong, and take the right decision going forward. It should not be like your decision should not be influenced, your decision should not be biased towards something. You should have an independent, and you should be able to take right decisions at the right time. Like if you just seen here, using child labor for production, discharge of toxic substances into the environment, paying kickbacks. Kickbacks is nothing but paying bribes so that work can happen. We are seeing so many movies, Bollywood movies, Hollywood movies made around, these kickbacks that, okay, they're talking about bribery. You pay bribes so that you can get that work done because it has become a normal course of business. Bribery nowadays is like a normal expense. I don't know whether they are showing it in the profit and loss account or not, but it is like, yes, it is a normal fee which you have to pay, and businesses are paying it, paying kickbacks. I have seen it personally in the organizations which I was, supplying to. Kickbacks, pretty normal. Kickbacks are pretty normal in there. Really a big time problem to get a deal out there. If you just see in here, you can Google about the latest, not the latest, it was around for 4 years old, like now it's 2022, it's 5 years old. If you see in, go dig back, FIFA, it's an international organization, there are kickbacks in it. Kickbacks in the sense, to those suppliers who want to supply that stuff, there are some corruption, bribery going on in there. You can I'll put down the detailed link in the description below. If you want, you can go check out those references also in detail so that you can, okay, this is also something which is happening. In fact, even discharging toxic substance into the environment. Now we talk about toxic substance, like for example, you can go ahead, search down on the internet that what all pollution stuff can be made, and it is a normal course of building business. Like, you know, you're manufacturing something and there's a environmental chemical waste which is getting drained out, and it's a big time problem. So moving forward, you see, when analyzing ethical behavior, we need to see into consideration ethics, morality, and virtue. Now, there's a slight difference between the two. 3, ethics, a philosophical examination and understanding of what is right and wrong, or good and bad. Application of ethical principles is morality. Virtue is characteristics of morality of an individual. So here we are talking about these general terms. What I will do is I'll put down a link of a YouTube video, which is of a TED talk, in which they are talking about why is ethics important. Why is ethics important? I would suggest you guys who's watching this video that watch that also. I'll put the link in the description below so that you get a more broader understanding. The more broader understanding it happens, it will help you for your exam also, and your main exam also. Main exam is your life. Okay, so that will help you out in there. So now let's go towards these principles which are there in here. Teleology. Now, teleology, what does it mean? See, teleology says that if the end which you are going to achieve, whatever end you are going to achieve, if that is good, then whatever means you take, whatever way you take, that's fine. Like suppose the end is filling up your stomach, that's the right thing, right? Okay, you're filling up your stomach, you're filling up your family's stomach. That is something which is right. That is something which is a necessity. Teleology says that if that is your end goal, then whatever route you choose, that's right. That's right according to this particular principle. In fact, in that itself comes utilitarianism. Now, in this particular principle, if you see, this is coming in a stream of teleological philosophy only, that if the end which you are wanting is right, then whatever means you take is fine. Here comes the opposite of it, which is deontology. Now, deontology, what does it say? Is that whatever actions you are taking right now matters a lot. The action which you are taking right now, the actions taken, whatever the ends may be good or bad, does not matter. But what action you are taking right now should be good enough, should be ethical enough. That's what it says. Virtue ethics is a decision if a virtuous person would do the same in the same circumstances. Almost thus it considers. You can see they talk about deontology and teleology. Deontology, what it says, your means should be right towards reaching your end. Your end may be good, bad, does not matter. What teleology says, that your end should be good. If that's good, then whatever means you take, that's fine. A broader concept which I have said, 100% is going to come in your examination. Now, relativism justice, you guys can go through it. We talk about social justice, distributive justice, restorative justice, retributive justice. Those who have done wrong should be punished objectively and proportionally, and so on. This stuff you guys can go through and see. This stuff you guys can go through. Relativism, you can see there's no set of moral principle exists. A decision is right if it is based on what appears to be right or reasonable within one's own belief or value system. If you believe that yes, that's right, then they think about, that's another principle about it. Now, talking about those streams, let's get started with business ethics. Includes some concept that can influence daily business. These are the moral philosophies which you can see: fairness, integrity, due diligence, fiduciary responsibility. Now, what are these? Now, fairness is you're being fair, you're being unbiased to a particular situation, unbiased in your decision, is seen as leveling the playing field. So fairness, okay, like 11 by 11, you should play a match, or 10 by 10, you should play. Both have equal opportunities. That's fairness. Integrity is your personal behavior when you are having some power and you have to do some work, so you should also make sure that your decision which you're going to take, that should be independent and not dependent on any situation, or does not get influenced by anything. Due diligence is your own competency level, your own work which you have done, your capability, your qualification to do that particular work. That is due diligence. Then fiduciary responsibility is the legal responsibility to act solely for the best interest to another. It's actually for the benefit of public at large. That's fiduciary responsibility, which comes like without saying that. If you, an example of fiduciary responsibility is the duty of a lawyer to act in the best interest of clients. So that goes without saying. So implicit responsibility also, you can say. Then comes, see, these are technical terms for your examination. Statement of ethical professional practice. Okay. Now, what are the four overarching principles? Overarching principles: honesty, fairness, objectivity, and responsibility. These are what? Principles. Okay, get me right here. And after these principles, we are having what? Standards. Competence, confidentiality, integrity, and credibility. These are what? Standards. These are what? Principles. Now we are going to discuss all these in detail. Now, if there is any ethical conflict coming out, what you need to do is make sure that whatever ethical conflict you are coming out from, or you found out something, or there's a problem going on, what you should do is nothing but contact your immediate supervisor. You should contact your immediate supervisor. If you find that he's also involved in it, then contact further immediate supervisor. If he's also involved, if you find out, then further immediate supervisor. You go on. If you find out everyone is there, then you can reach out to the corporate governance ethics code, or you can reach out to the non-executive directors. These are the people which you can reach out. If you find out they are also involved in it, then you can reach out to the media shareholders later on. See, not media shareholders. You need to reach out towards the IMA helpline for the ethical issues. That's there. You can reach out to them also. You can note this number down. Now coming up towards conflict of interest. Now, when I say conflict of interest, for this, you also need to understand your stakeholder matrix. Now, when I say stakeholder matrix, I'll put down that video also if possible, or you can just share, search for who are stakeholders, space NGS Professional Academy on YouTube. You'll find out a video about stakeholders. Now, when I say stakeholders here, stakeholders are different people, like, a customer is a stakeholder, a shareholder is a stakeholder, a person who is a supplier is a stakeholder. Everybody will have their own interest in the organization, their own interest which they want to be achieving it. Now, when they have their own interest which they want to achieve, the organization cannot make sure to satisfy everyone. Okay, so the supplier may want something, the customer may want something, and the shareholder will want something. So here comes conflict of their interest. Now, what should you do when you're having this particular conflict of interest? Now, when you're having this particular conflict of interest, you need to see and apply the stakeholder power interest matrix. What you should apply? Stakeholder power interest matrix. I have explained this in a video. Just search on YouTube who are stakeholders, space NGS Professional Academy. You'll find that video. It's an old video which I had made, but still it's highly relevant. In power interest matrix, what you do, you see who is having more power and more interest. Try favoring it first. Then more power, less interest, favor them also, keep them satisfied. And then who is having less power and more interest, keep them informed. And who is having low power, low interest, just have minimal effort which you need to take to them. You don't need to go in depth for them. So whenever there is a conflict of interest, make sure that it is resolved in the best possible manner without getting that without getting it affected with the business. Okay. Now, methods of control of conflict of interest: make sure that everyone is properly satisfied and working to their fullest. Now, ethics on the examination, just see here. Also, let me just tell you, when you start your CMA examination now, they'll give you a underwriting, you can say, or ethical underwriting. They'll say that whatever questions you are going to attempt in this particular examination, you cannot go out and share these questions. This is an ethical undertaking which you do while you're writing the examination. But believe me, you will not even remember what questions you have given. You will hardly remember few questions out of the examination. Nobody will remember. If I come across some question and then I'll say, did this come in my exam or not? I really don't remember. And there are no questions which you can say that these are the questions which can come. These type of questions can come in the examination, we can say that. But this is the exact question which I've got. You cannot remember it. You may remember it for a few days soon after the examination, but after that, you will not be able to remember it. So don't share that also. That is also an ethical problem. Don't ask also that, is there any past papers of CMA? There are no past papers of CMA. There are no past papers available for CMA. Mock examination, past papers are not there only. You enter into a ethical standard that you must not share questions outside. And also let me share you one more secret. The examiner has your Gleim material, has the Wiley material, has the Hawk material, has each and every material which is available in the market. So what he'll do is he'll make sure that there is no exact question coming from these materials. He'll have his own unique pattern. But do you have similar questions as such in these materials? Yes, similar questions will be there, but no exact questions will be there. So which material is best, or so just leave that, concentrate on the content and try attempting more and more new questions. The more new questions you try to solve, the better will be your problem solving technique. The problem solving, like, you can solve it at a faster pace. Now, when you can do that, then any question can come towards you and you'll be able to solve it soon. So that's what is the trick in here. Then you see the IMA statement of ethical professional practice, or you can also say the standards which are there. Competence says what? That you should be capable enough. You should be qualified enough. You should have proper knowledge about the rules, regulations, or the work which you are doing. You should be competent enough. It should not be like, I learned it long back, now I don't remember. Not accepted. Then comes next, confidentiality. Whatever confidential information about the organization is, you cannot just leak it out like this in the market, or you do not have the right time to leak it out in the market. If you do so, then you're violating a bigger standard, which is confidentiality. Then comes integrity. Integrity is your independence at work. Your independent decision making at work matters a lot. Okay, that's integrity for you. You should make sure that you don't accept any gifts from the organizations or which you're working, so that your decision gets influenced. Don't do that. Credibility is your communicate information fairly and objectively. Is that, see, if you find out, I'll put a situation. If you find out something fictitious, or something which is getting cooked up in the organization, you find out that this organization is not doing good, and you decide that, let me leave this organization. These are not ethical people, bad guys. These are the bad guys. I should not work with them. If you think about like that and leave that organization, then you have violated credibility. Why you have violated credibility? Because you were in that organization. You found out that there is a problem in that organization. You should have been credible enough to come out and speak, or you have the proper channel to report this particular fraud or whatever cooking of books were happening. You were in a position, you could have stopped it. You were in a position, you could have informed it. You should have done that. That's credibility. People are relying on you because you are a professional out there. Professional, let me just tell you, you are a professional accountant or management accountant. People are relying on you by putting their money in that particular organization. If you're a doctor, people are waiting for your people will rely on your advice. You are a credible person for that. If you I'm an educational counselor, people be credible, will take credibility on my advice which I give them for their career to choose according to them. So it matters a lot. Okay, credibility, you should be credible in what you do. It's not only just okay, in the organization I'm credible, outside of my office I do whatever I can, does not matter. It will matter. What goes around comes around. Resolving ethical issues, what you need to do, reach out to your further immediate supervisor. This is what you need to do in your examination, because this is what is the best option. That's the best answer. Reach out to your immediate supervisor. Okay, now if that's not there, then at the last go towards non-executive directors. If not them, then go towards the IMA helpline code. If not them, then you can go to the public, but don't do this. If you find out an ethical issue, you take your phone, you go on live on your phone that, oh, this is the issue which is happening, this is what I said, this is what is wrong which is happening. Don't do that. That's not the right way. Because you are becoming judgmental at that time, and you will not be able to pass judgments that right away. You should analyze all situations. At the end, things are getting out of control, or you tried everything possible, then that's the thing which you need to do. But nowadays, without authority, people without responsibility, people are taking authority. You should be responsible first, then take up the authority. I hope you guys are understanding the difference between be responsible first, then take authority. Like suppose, let me just give you a daily example which I get. A daily thing which I come across on a regular basis, because there are many students who reach out to me. There are many concerning questions about will I get a job or not, or someone has said me to do this, will I get a job or not. See, or some relative has said to do this particular thing, and that's why they are doing that particular course or something. If a relative is saying you, he's saying you out of authority, not out of responsibility. And that is authority without responsibility. Let me further say this. Authority because they are elder to you, they know you since long time, and they're telling that this is something which you need to do. And if suppose that does not work out well, then who's responsible? Is that relative responsible, or you are only responsible? It's you who's responsible, but he's not going to take the responsibility. Okay, most of the times, those people who just give you an advice with authority are not responsible. Okay, so responsibility comes first, then comes authority. I hope you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. Tomorrow also, if you're going to be in an organization, you're going to be a team member, take responsibility first, then later on take authority about it. Suppose you're going to be a leader of a team and you're going to take control of that particular team. Don't just be authoritative over them, be responsible for them first, then you'll be able to take authority over them. I hope I'm making a lot of sense to you guys, and you guys are able to understand it too. We are done with those standards. Now we are going to talk about the fraud or fraud triangle we are going to talk about. Now, let me just put down a few situations in front of you. I hope that you guys are able to see me clearly. It's around 1:16 a.m. right now. You can see the time below. And 2nd of January. When I'm talking about a fraud triangle, these are three things. Triangle has three directions or three things in it. So in a fraud triangle also, you should have three things happening. So it's a triangle which is to be made. Now for that, let me just explain in here. To do a fraud, first of all, you should have a need for it. Okay. You should have a need that I need funds. That's my motivation. I need funds. It's a requirement to me. And if you are there in that situation, there are chances that you may do a fraud. Now, with that need, with that motivation, you have got an opportunity to do a fraud. What you've got an opportunity that no one is there, no one's looking at you. You've got an opportunity. Now, when you've got an opportunity and you also need money, or you need something and you have an opportunity in front of you, but still there is something which is stopping you, or there are chances that you may do a fraud in there. There's a need or a motivation, there's an opportunity in front of you, chances are you will do a fraud. Now suppose you are having the motivation, you're having the opportunity, and you are also having something called dishonesty. And you will be like having a rational thinking that what I'm doing is right. That's there in your head only. Okay. According to the world, that's wrong. But in your head, whatever I'm doing is for the family I have to feed, or for the people I have to look about, for the Robin Hood I am. These all stuff. So that's a rational mindset which you're having. This boss has treated me ill. Whatever I can do against him will be good only. That's a rational thinking which you're having. If you have these three in place, your need, your motivation is there, opportunity is there, and dishonesty or rational thinking that whatever you're doing is right, then becomes here a triangle. What becomes here? A triangle. In fact, in some books, it's also written prerequisites of a fraud. If a fraud has to happen, then these all stuff has to be in place, and then fraud will happen. So this is a triangle which is getting created, and that's what they have termed it fraud triangle. Okay. Types of fraud, you can see fraudulent financial reporting, misappropriation of assets. These all types of fraud can happen when all these three things are there, highly likely to happen. Even if one is there, then also fraud will happen. But when all these three things are there, no, big time problem. So if you can just see in here, opportunity, rationalization, pressure or motivation or a need which you have, then becomes a fraud triangle. So that's what you see. Pressure, your integrity, opportunity, all things put together, high opportunity, high time of fraud, a triangle. Okay. Only if these two, like suppose integrity, opportunity is not, integrity is again your dishonesty, honesty, dishonesty, or rational thinking, integrity they've talked about. Integrity, opportunity together, medium risk. Two things at a time, medium risk. Three things at a time, it's high risk for the organization of a fraud to happen. I hope that I'm making a lot of clarity in this particular revision session. Okay, so let me move forward. We've talked about a lot. Then red flags or risk factors indicating potential fraud. Now, what all things are there which can say that they are potential fraud? Performance too bad or too good to be true. Chances, yeah, kuch gadbad hai. There is a problem in it. Okay. Threat of imminent bankruptcy, foreclosure, hostile takeover, or talking about stuff like we are in problems, but you're happy, going on well. Red flag. Strained relationship with the auditor, known history of security law violation, industry market declines, poor cash flows, high complex transactions, misappropriation of assets. You can see large amounts of cash on hand, unexplained budget variance, failure of certain employees, shortage of delivery of goods received, poor supervision. These all things, these all small things end up big and comes into a big fraud. Like if you just see in here, Enron, what did it do? Inflated their accounting records. Wells Fargo, what did they do? created fake bank accounts. Fake bank accounts they did. There are many organizations which take kickbacks. And you see, the next this session only, we are going to talk about that Sarbanes-Oxley. We are going to talk about, or not, I'm not sure. Sarbanes-Oxley, FCPA means Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. These all things are responses to these particular problems which are happening across the globe. Corruption, I have seen this. Okay, when I was in Dubai, I used to have different nationalities around all the time. And when they used to talk about their own country, I'm not going to specify any country right now. In my country, there's a lot of corruption. And then another used to say that in my country, there's a lot of corruption. Let me tell you, where there is human being, there's greed. And when there is greed, there is corruption. So greed, corruption, these all things go hand in hand. And has never done any good for the human at large. The humans have suffered from this particular greed. Little greed is okay, fine, little greed, but a lot of greed, you want everything. If you just see in here, interest, riba, interest is a big time problem in the society. You see, 2008 financial crisis. Why did that happen? Collapse of financial markets. In fact, do you know that there were many executives which were paid in huge amounts to make the recession happen also, to collapse, to burst that bubble also. Having products which are not good for people and sold it as if you are opening happiness. Coca-Cola is nowhere related to opening happiness through the tagline which they say. That's not ethical. Selling cigarettes is unethical, termed in maximum things. In fact, that's also a reason advertisements for alcohol and cigarettes is banned. Advertisement on a TV advertisement, it's banned. Okay. So what they've come up with is like lifestyle branding. They brand themselves on different places, like in movies, people are consuming alcohol and smoking cigarettes. So what happens? People think that okay, that's the way of living. So that's an subconscious mind. They'll get marketed there. Awareness, interest, desire, action. I said it at the start. That keeps on happening. In fact, right now, with this awareness, interest, desire, and action, social media is nowhere down. In social media also, what are they doing? They're looking into your data and what you're doing, what are your preferences, and they're trying to keep you in that loop again and again, so that you keep on watching it and be on that platform, and advertisers can advertise their product to you and they make more money. So psychologically, they're playing with your minds. If you see something which is good, you see something which is on Facebook and you're finding interest in seeing that, the next video which you see will be also related to that. And the next is again related to that. How are they getting to know about it? They are knowing what you're doing. Mark Zuckerberg knows what we are doing right now also. So there are a lot of unethical activities happening across. What can we do? You guys can put it down in the comment section below. Now, investigate resource techniques and stuff. See, again, they are talking about the data, online data and stuff. Electronic evidence, interviews, trying to understand that what are the ethical challenges and coming over those ethical challenges in the best possible manner if they can. Okay. Then managing risk and fraud, what you can do, types of control, have strong, for primary controls is like have proper right, strong security measures. Secondary controls have proper IT security measures so that these type of frauds cannot happen. As such, nothing having some data rules, regulations and stuff. Then segregation of duties, segregation of accounting duties, independent checks, verification. If there is a transaction to happen, that one person who is recording it, another person goes deposits it, and you segregate duties among people so that there is no conflict arising. And also there are a few things which I keep telling in the class, that organizations tend to hire more people with different backgrounds, different upbringings or stuff, different cultures. Why? Because if everybody is from the same culture, same background, same language, everything is same, then chances of fraud happening are also same, are high. If different cultures, different things, then multicultural culture kind of a thing, people try to promote it in the organization that we are having different cultures and stuff, but that's kind of to avoid frauds to happen. Okay, now moving forward towards another session, which is corporate ethical legislation, corporate responsibility for ethical behavior. Very important for our session. Let's get started with anti-bribery laws. Now, what are the laws related towards bribe here? Bribe, first of all, is corruption. See, anti-bribery laws, let me just tell you, it's a big market right now. Bribe. And I said it earlier, bribe is taken up as an expense in the profit and loss account because it has become a normal course of business. Normally you have to pay, you have to pay that much amount. Does not matter. You have to pay. If you just see, corruption is costly for companies. Bribery has become more of an attention point within national jurisdiction. Globalization requires more anti-bribery legislation. Enforcement of anti-bribery laws has become more international. Because see, if you are in a country, you have to do work in this country itself, then you will find out loopholes and somehow you will do work. But if suppose you have to establish office in another country, you don't know the rules, regulations out there. And when you want to go and get started over there, you need to take help of the officials. And those officials are telling that, okay, this fees is there, that fees is there. If those fees are to get started with that business and that's a proper fee, then it's fine. But if it's not a proper fee, then that's a bribe. They may be termed in different names. Okay. Or gifts given to some person. Bribe only so that this work can be done. In fact, I was watching a TEDx video. I'll put that link also below. In that video, the lady is talking about a building getting collapsed in Bangladesh. A building getting collapsed in Bangladesh, 1,100 people losing their life. 1,100 people losing their life. And that's back there in 2016 or 2017. What were they doing? After the investigation, it came out that that building was made on a pond. And 2 extra stories were there in that building. And when the time came to check that particular building, that, okay, safety measures, is it passing or not? These safety checks passing and audit check did not happen only. It got bypassed. Now, when it got bypassed, how did it get bypassed? These audits checks before approving that building, how did it get bypassed? This high possibility of bribe. And what were they doing in that particular place? They were suppliers to that clothing industry which is there in the west, which is there in the west. You guys need to watch that TEDx video. I don't remember the exact terminologies. That the link, I'll put it down in the description below. Go ahead, watch it. You will increase a lot in why this ethics is important. It's not just making or losing money. You end up lives of people also. People lose life. Then comes Foreign Corrupt Practices Act of 1977. See, if you just see in here, they talk about the history of Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, that why it came into place. FCPA says that you should have proper accounting, you should keep proper books of records, and you should have proper internal control. This is what FCPA says. primary thing which you need to have is having proper books of records, and then you should have a good internal control. A strong internal control should be there. Now, anti-bribery. Anti-bribery is again which we've just talked about, so I'll be moving forward. Corrupt payments made to foreign officials so that business can run. But will business run at large? Strong no. Because of this particular corruption which happens at the top, that gets spread down towards maximum organizations, maximum people working around. That corruption which is there at the top, it gets spread. If it is stopped there, then it will not be spread. Where if it is stopped at the top of the organization, at the top of organizations, if that's stopped, how can that be stopped? Is everyone understanding the importance of ethics and everybody understanding the importance of a human life. You know, the society, I'm telling that again, marketing. Awareness, interest, desire, action. People misuse it also, abuse it also. This is a principle which is taught in marketing class. First, you need to create awareness about it. Then slowly interest will come in, and then they will be desiring to get that particular product. This particular phone, iPhone, right? 20 years back, do you think about this iPhone? No. 2007 it launched, right? Awareness came, and then everybody was interested for it. The advertisement around, going around advertising about this particular product, that this is that, this is that. Then the desire comes that yes, I need to go and buy it, and then you take action to buy it. And then there is a whole ecosystem around going that once you purchase this iPhone, then you automatically purchase all stuff. What's that happening? What is that happening? Isn't that you're getting into the loop of buying again and again? Until unless you as a organization think of giving value to people and more value to people, then only businesses will grow. But here is a whole different ball game. If you want to do something good also, there'll be so many problems in your way that you'll not be able to do it. And because of this interest and stuff, people have more and more desires to accomplish. Now, when there are more and more desires to accomplish, people are more materialistic rather than being more humanistic. I don't know even if that's a word. People love materials. Like, I love my phone, I love my car, I love my house more than I love anything else. Wow, this type of mentality is getting created. Social status is there. Do you have a car? Do you have a house? Do you have, what are you doing? What qualification you have? How good are you as a human being is nowhere a qualification. How ethical you are is nowhere. Right? You're scrapped out in the market. They'll say that, oh, they'll eat you out. People in the market. Let's move ahead from it. Facilitation payments. Now, in some countries, if suppose there is a payment which has to be made so that normal work can be done in the market, that's facilitation payments. That's fine. Then that's okay, but not in a way that it is actually a bribe. It should not be there. But in some cases, facilitation payments are being misused as bribe. So that's again a problem for the organizations at large. Now, UK bribery law, FCPA examples, SEC. Now, offering, promising, giving an advantage, requesting, agreeing to receive, or accepting an advantage, bribery of foreign, these all things are in the UK Bribery Act of 2010, and they say that you should not do it. Not do it. if you're watching this now, see, maybe you're a student today, you're a student today, but you are going to encounter many instances tomorrow, and it's really difficult at times, because you would be needing it. Okay, you would be needing stuff, you'd be in a need of something, and then it is like, just give me a minute, I guess I have some work here. Okay, so I'm just back in here. If you just see in here, the UK Bribery Act is much more strict than the FCPA. Okay, the FCPA talks about the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Okay, so if you're going to make any foreign corrupt payments, for that it talks about a lot. Whereas with the UK Bribery Act, it takes control over almost all. Okay, it takes, like, UK law is with the highest possible impact worldwide, because it has broadest extraterritorial jurisdictions. Companies, whether or not UK based, should be aware of the territorial jurisdiction of the UKBA. The following are the subject to UKBA. You can see companies doing business overseas. UK companies doing, if an employee, agent, anyone is obtained in bribe. Foreign companies with operations in the UK, any company that carries on a part of its business within the UK is liable under the UKBA. So the laws are a bit strict in there. Now coming up, Sarbanes-Oxley Act, really important for you guys. Sarbanes-Oxley Act, you're going to get a lot of questions from this. If you just see here, there's scandals they are talking about. Enron hid debt over 1 billion. How practices came to light. Whistleblower 2001, Arthur Anderson shredded documents related to Auditor. So these are some of the frauds which came, or which gave rise to this Sarbanes-Oxley Act. In response to the scandals described above, SOX, they call Sarbanes-Oxley Act, imposed extensive new responsibilities on issuers of public traded securities and their auditors. The most significant provision of SOX regarding the section 406, which requires the companies issuing securities to disclose whether or not, and if not, reason therefore such issuer adopted a code of ethics for senior financial officers. As I said you earlier, that if you stop the corruption and you imposed rules, regulations strong on the upper management, then it will not get spreaded down. So if you take control of it at the top itself, if you try applying that particular pressure at the top management itself, then lower management you don't need to focus a lot on, because if you stop the spread of corruption and problems. So now in this code of ethics, if you just see in here, they talk about the standards, they talk about the principles, which we were talking about in the earlier of this session itself. Okay, it does not define ethics itself, it simply takes an understanding of the concept of for granted. This reflects the difficulty of legislating a sense of ethics on the senior management and all the management at large. Now, corporate responsibility for ethical behavior. This is actually the last topic which is there in this particular ethics, which we are going to talk about. See, what do you need to do in creating an ethical behavior? What's the corporate's responsibility to do that? See, creating a positive work environment, avoiding legal problems, improving brand reputation, enhancing customer loyalty, supporting employee satisfaction and meaning, satisfying the need to do the right thing. So when we talk about all these stuff, it is not just really easy to implement all these at a time. It takes a corporate, see, they need to be creating profits, they need to be creating customer value, they should be creating their own brand, they should create a positive work environment, everything in one place. It's highly difficult, but still creating a culture is important. Creating a culture of giving it back, creating a culture of giving it back. See, you've become a corporate based on, from the ground you've come, you've done a lot of work, you've done a lot of hard work, the environment has supported you, the customers out there have supported you and made you what you are today. So it's always the chance, always a responsibility for the corporate to give it back, so that the benefit goes towards everyone, and the environment is saved at large. See, code of conduct, which they're talking about, should be readily accessible to all employees, easy to understand, relevant to the company. See, when we talk about this code of conduct of employees and stuff, it's like they should not be bullied at place, they should not be harassed at place. But there are so many instances which we see across politics going on inside the organization. The culture is a little bad in the organization itself. In most organizations, it's good also. It's like accept it. Okay, don't question unnecessary things. See, problems will arise when you question unnecessarily. Why do you want to question unnecessarily? Why do you want to impose stuff on people unnecessarily? Okay, just accept it as it goes. Some gossips take up to some extent in an organization that it will end up careers of people, or put a bad remark on the career of bad remark on careers of people, and you would not be able to come over it. It takes time. I hope that those people who are working can relate with me. Now, group thing, diversity of thought, which I said about that, you'll have different people of different background working in an organization, is because you can have diversity of people, you can have diversity of their cultures. Moreover, if they are diverse in different backgrounds, then collaborating and making a fraud or doing a fraud chances are less. Okay. Then IMA is practice of management accounting. You can see in here, organization has a responsibility to foster a sense of ethics to its employees, agents. In no defined code of conduct, they say that what you need to do, but it's like, your employees, the people of the organization should be valued a lot, because they are giving it to the organization. You give it back to them in some or the other means. And recently I've read an article which says that if you have a budget for that games and stuff to be played within the employees, team bonding and all that, few of the employees, they say that instead of investing in those trainings, instead of investing in trainings or that group activities of team bonding and stuff, if they can give a salary hike, that will be much better for them, so that they can concentrate better on work. Is that good? Rather than having some team bonding happening in the organization itself, give them a salary hike instead of that money, and let them work. Now that's fine. It depends on organization to organization, I believe, but it's a good thought also. The employee wants to have time with his family. He has a life to live. So the more you concentrate on the employee's life which he has to live, and tell them that yes, we value your life which you want to live, and go be with your family, do what you want, go on a vacation, but be at work. When work is required, you should be at work, and you'll have all those luxuries. Just unnecessary calling them up on weekends, telling that okay, you have to come here, do this work over weekends, or the culture stating that okay, you have to work overtimes also. So you must not be ripped out of your personal life. Okay, so those are things which you need to take care of. Okay, benefit of the distinguish between ethical and merely legal behavior. This is something which is really basic. Ethics are from the ethical standards and principles, whereas legal comes from the laws, rules, regulations, compliance, policies, cultures. Okay, then leadership by example. See, people won't do what you tell them to do. People will just do what you are doing. Employees won't do what you tell them, that okay, you go do this or you go do this. They won't do it. They will actually just see what you're doing, and then they'll follow it. If you come late, they'll come late. If you come on time, they'll also come on time. I've faced a lot of problems. I've been late at many places. Because of me being late at many places, then everybody takes it like okay, let's be late, no problem at all. Faced a lot of problems. So now I'm trying to improve that that drawback in me so that I can lead it by an example, being on time so that everybody respects time. Okay. The concept of human capital. See, we are talking about human capital here, but in the accounting standards and stuff, there's no human capital. There's no human capital. You cannot term them as an asset and put them in the balance sheet, but actually they add humongous value to the organization. And they should be added in the balance sheet as an asset because they are adding value to the organization, but you don't value it. You value their work but they should be valued. If they are valued, then the organization will grow more further. Just tell them that, well done, you've done a good job. Things go well there. Okay. Organization's culture impacts a lot. If you have a positive, good going culture is fine. But if suppose there is politics and then bad things happening in the culture of the organization, then that's a really bad thing for the organization. You should have, in fact, if you just see, there are people out there selling courses or selling sessions, just selling sessions. Okay, sorry. Selling sessions that, okay, I'll help you out in structuring the culture of your organization. People are coming up with that understanding, and still we are, talking about culture. Okay, culture. Let's see. No, culture is really important. Same goes with employee training. Same goes with 2 methods of monitoring, human performance feedback loop. See, employee training, we have just talked about it, that why it is important so that you learn more stuff. See, team bonding and stuff can be a bit avoided because anyhow in the organization you work together only. Training, technical training, learning few skills, really important because you are upskilling your employee. And if you are upskilling your employee, then there is scope for the employee only to grow in the organization. Okay, then 2 methods of monitoring high performance feedback loop. See, feedback is something which is taken all the time. Organizations, employers will take feedback from employees on a regular basis. From the customer, they will take feedback on a regular basis. The only question is, are you going to feed forward the feedback which you have received? Are you going to implement the feedback which you have received? You should do that, and organizations fail to do that. And if they do that, then organizations will grow at a faster pace. Then there is survey tools, understanding that what is going on across the organization in an anonymous way, so that people can come up and talk about, just like a blowing framework, in which if something wrong is happening, there would be a line, or there should be a process or a method through which you can report that what are things which have happened, what are the problems which are there, and your identity will not be disclosed, kind of a stuff. So you would be fine with that too. Okay, then anything else? Ethical behavior, strong internal control. Then 3 tools that can be identified to control related ethical behavioral issues is business process reengineering. It is nothing but starting up the organizational structure from the scratch, setting up proper ethical standards so that you have strong processes in the business. Then optimum quality management of the resources which you have. Don't have defects in the organization. Try to minimize the defects which are there in the organization, and you improve continuously you improve towards the further improvement of the organization at large. Now, that's not just you do it in a small manner, you do it on a continuous manner. Then corporate social responsibility, organizations to focus on sustainability of the environment at large and do those works which are in line supporting the environment. Okay, if you do that, then organizations will grow, environment will grow, a healthy environment will be created rather than a cutting environment to be created. Okay, now the 4 levels of CSR, if you just see in here: philanthropical responsibilities, economic responsibilities start from the down, then legal responsibilities, then ethical responsibilities, and then philanthropic, like everybody should be growing ahead. Like economic, for the base of CSR, first and foremost, organs should be economically viable to and profitable to do this. Then they should follow rules, regulations which are there according to the law of the land. Then they should be ethical in a manner to doing the right things in the right manner. And at the top, what should do, those responsibilities requires organization to give back to the society in the form of money, goods, social deeds, compensation for their if suppose there's a harm to the society, then you should give back in compensation. Moreover, you can improve people by imparting education, and many organizations are actually doing it. They are taking up imparting education as their part of their CSR. Okay, so here we end this particular ethics. Okay, ethics, which is there, section section F. 15% of your examination we've completed. So we'll be moving forward towards the MCQ sessions. We'll try doing more number of MCQ sessions in this particular session. So let's get started with it. If you're taking a break in between, you can take a break in between and come towards the MCQ sessions, and I'll see you in there. All right, let's get started with the MCQ sessions now.
The branch of moral philosophy in which what is good or right derives from the action itself, regardless of the consequences, is social justice. I don't think so. Teleology, no, because you're putting in the right thing inside, no matter what your consequences are. But you are doing the right thing. Maybe it may end up right or wrong, don't know. But what is the process which you're going on? It is going on towards the right thing, and it can surely not be utilitarianism. It can never be that, because it says that is for the good of everyone. So you are just focusing on the process. So the answer will be deontology, which is nothing but based on belief that what is good, right, derives from the action itself. It cannot be utilitarianism, because it is more of talking with it is for the good of a public at large. So the answer is option D. Let's move on to the second question. You can pause it, answer it yourself right now. Now, integrity is an ethical requirement of all IMA members. One aspect of integrity requires, what does it require? Avoidance of apparent conflicts of interest. Now, this is right away the answer, actually, I can say, because integrity talks about conflicts of interest. You need to make sure your integrity is maintained in the organization. Let's just read the second point. Refraining from using now this is with the confidentiality. Performance of professional duties in accordance with relevant law, that is competency. Maintenance of an appropriate level of professional leadership and expertise. Nope, that does not fall under integrity. So the answer is avoidance. Now, you would have got a doubt with maintenance of an appropriate level of professional. This is an aspect of competence requirement, not with the integrity. All right, I hope that you've got it right. Next, you can pause it. Now, I'm not going to tell it every time on every question. You guys need to pause it on your own and then move forward. The IMA Statement of Ethical Professional Practice requires an IMA member to follow the established policies of the organization when faced with an ethical conflict. If these policies do not resolve the conflict, the member should. What should the member do now? The normal thing is nothing but contact your next supervisor. If he's also involved, then go next. That's the real method of solving that query. Consult the board of directors, no. Communicate the problem with authorities, no. Contact the higher management level if initial presentations or immediate does not resolve the conflict. Exactly, that's bang on. This is the problem with this superior, no. But I think so you can go ahead with C. I hope you guys are getting clarity. Next, a large internet company must protect the privacy of user data while providing services and earning profits. Okay, so that's business. Option A maximizes profits and customer satisfaction with services while providing minimal security for customer data. Option B will result in lower profits and customer satisfaction with maximum security for user data. A cost benefit analysis quantifies profits. Okay, fine. Customer satisfaction and losses from breach of, okay, in option 1 you are having minimal security and customer maximization is done, satisfaction is done, and profit maximization is also done in option 1. Option B, lower profits, lower customer satisfaction, maximum security. Okay, then the organization, what does it do is nothing but an indicator. Option A is preferable. The company's adoption of this approach is most consistent with which branch of moral philosophy? Now it they are taking, what is the best for the complete whole. Now, what is best for the complete whole? It cannot be deontology, because you're not doing the right things at place. First of all, not fiduciary responsibility, not theology. It is for sure utilitarianism. It is this. That's the answer for you. Why? Okay, now I'm getting it right. Values maximizing positive effects. So now you can see here there were three things which were there. Out of those three things, two were maximizing profit, so you would go with that for the betterment of everyone. All right, let's move on. You can pause it, answer it, and then move forward. The management team attended ethics training. Okay, IMA annual conference. I hope you all have also attended that. Subsequently, made plans to enhance their ethics program. The president plans to chair a committee of employees to review the company's behavioral values, while the CFO intends to review the ethical standard. Okay, CFO is nothing but the leader. Intends to review the ethical standards applicable to the finance department. The manager of the HRD will investigate the feasibility of establishing a whistleblowing framework that includes a hotline for reporting ethics violation. Okay, these activities exemplify. Okay, now when we see leaders doing these things, organizational transparency, yes, it is, but not the right and best answer for this. Leadership by example, for sure, this can be the answer. Alignment of internal controls, kind of a mismatch. Measures of ethical compliance, no, there's no law telling us, so compliance does not come into the picture. So it's more of leadership by example. It is at the tone at the top which you set in that makes you better out there. Now moving on to the next question. Which level of corporate social responsibility is the most basic? Now, I've got this question many a times, and I have the answer also for it. Make sure that you pause and answer it, and then move forward. Is it legal responsibilities? It's nothing but doing all the lawful things, ethical things, complying with all those ethical standards. Economic responsibility is nothing but doing the least trade of the business. Philanthropic responsibilities, it's more of the highest one. So let me tell you this answer in here. What I can understand from this is I can go with economic responsibilities. Why economic responsibilities? Is because your organization must at least serve your employees first, serve your employees, serve your people who are there in it, and then go out and serve others. So what I think, so the answer is C. Why is not, is it philanthropic? Is nothing but top of the CSR pyramid. It's not at all at the basic. Ethical also, no, not even with the illegal. I'm sure with that. Ethical responsibilities, it is, you need to go ahead with, sorry, economic responsibilities, it is, you need to go up with this basic one. See, make sure that you read the question properly, because chances are there that you may overread the question and you may lose out answers over there. Fine. According to IMA statement of ethical professional practice, a member has a responsibility to recognize professional limitations under which standard, okay, limitations, under which standard of ethical conduct would this responsibility be included? Okay, let me read this question again. A member has a responsibility to recognize, okay, he has to find out professional limitations. Okay, he has to find out the professional limitations. So it is not confidentiality, it cannot be competence, it can integrity, can it be? No, integrity comes up with the conflicts of interest, not limitation, not recognizes professional limitations. So for sure this can go with credibility. Why not integrity? I was feeling a bit doubt with integrity. You can see in here conflicts of interest, avoidance of acts discrediting the profession, refraining from acts of prejudice, the ability to carry out duties ethically, contributing to positive ethical culture. So that's not there in it. It's more of understanding and communicating the best possible outcome to the people who are believing you that you are a professional member in it. Now moving forward, which I hope you're pausing it, answering it yourself, and you're getting those rights. If you're getting those rights, I'm really, really happy for you. And if you're getting it wrong, you need to step back and see that what is the thing which is making you wrong over there. Maybe if you're not able to answer this, maybe you have not gone through the study text properly. If you go through the study text properly, understand the concepts with proper practical examples, then you will get all these right for sure. Not at the first try, but at least in some time you'll get that. Which of the following corporations are subject to the accounting requirements of the Corporate Foreign Corrupt Practice FCPA 1977? Very superb act. All corporations engaged in the interstate. Okay. All domestic corporations engaged in interstate. Yes. All corporations whose securities are registered pursuant to this SE Securities Exchange Act 1934. Bang on. This can be. Now let's read the fourth one. All corporations that have made a public offering under the Securities Act of 1933. Public offering not required, but if it is registered, you need to go ahead with this. I hope you guys are getting it right. Next, a branch of moral philosophy in which a decision is right if a virtuous person would do the same in the same circumstances. Okay, if you are there in that circumstances, you'll also do the same thing. I hope you guys remember how we did it in the means in the study text itself. I've explained it. Here it goes on. See, you would get like, okay, deontology, no, that was putting in the right thing. Theology, no, it cannot be. Justice, justice for the person, no, justice, it goes on with more, it is more of a strong term not to be taken into it. It would be more of virtue. Ethics is nothing but if it is there into action, you have to take it accordingly. Now let me just explain you for the benefit of, according to theology, whether an action is right, it depends on the outcome. That is what is achieved. What a virtuous person do is existing of a moral rule or law is irrelevant. It's more of what is right at that time. He would go ahead with it. I hope you guys are getting it right. Now, firms subject to reporting requirements of Securities Exchange Act 1974 are required by the Foreign Criminal Practices Act of 1977 to maintain satisfactory internal control. The role of the independent auditor relative to this act is, now when we say independent auditor, what is the role of independent auditor is? Express opinion on sufficient of clients? No. Provide assurance to users as part of traditional audit ethics function that the client is in compliance with. Oh, no. Means compliance with present legislation? Not at all. Report clients with unsatisfactory. You do not have to. Means the independent auditor is not. What he has to do is just a basic attest to the financial statements. Close your eyes and mark it. Move forward. Now, paying bribes to foreign retaining business. Come on, yeah. Do I have to even talk about it? Foreign Health Practices Act. I hope you guys are also getting it. The IMA statement of ethical professional practice includes an integrity standard. It requires an IMA member to. What does it require an IMA member to do for integrity? I hope you guys have just done it before. We have just seen it. Report all information could influence finance. No, that is with credibility. Provide recommendations that are accurate. Cannot possible at all. Disclose confidential information. That's confidentiality. Mitigate actual conflicts of interest. That's integrity for you. All right. Now, with respect to the internal control provisions of the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, all of the following statements are true, except that. Except that. Now, here comes that all are true and one that's not true. FCPA prescribes a particular set of internal controls that companies are required to develop and implement. Now, there is no hard and fast rule from FCPA, though this can be the answer. Internal controls are used by companies to help provide reasonable assurance regarding reliability of. Okay, yeah, it can be. Access to company assets are permitted in accordance with management general and specific authorization. Yes, this also forms part of the statement, so it is not the except one. This cannot be the answer. Good internal controls can help prevent not only FCPA violation but also other illegal or unethical conduct. Yes, this is also good. So it is not in that is in line with this particular statement. So it does not come under except. But this statement, the first statement which we read, which comes in this word required when it comes in. So I think so. This, yep, it is. All right. Next one. I hope you guys are doing, pausing it and answering it then and there. Moral philosophy, that's it. What is good or right is derived from the action itself, regardless of. I guess we got this question previously also. No problem. Next, which one of the following statements concerning the Code of Ethics provision of 406 of Sarbanes-Oxley Act is not true? So, not true, we have to do it. So, it defines that the Code of Ethics is for the purpose of the rule. That's true. It requires the company's code of ethics apply uniformly to officers and employers. That's kind of confusing. Fine, I guess this can be because officers and employees. No, uniformly it cannot apply to both. It requires a company to disclose changes to its code of ethics. Yes, it requires a company to make its code of ethics publicly available either on its website or in the annual report. Yes, it is. So what we had a doubt on with B. Yep, it is the answer now. I went on with a guess right here. So we've got it right now. This is an educated guess. Now you can make an educated guess in your answers also. And before that, making this educated guess, it's more of going through the study text regressively. If you go through it, then you can get all this right. And I'm seeing that I'm getting almost every question right. And that the reason is going through the study text right, going through the class right. That's how I'm able to do it. I've done it number of times I've gone through it. All right, let's go ahead to the next question. Charlie Benwell was on a team that evaluated potential acquisition. Both Benwell's employer and the potential target are publicly traded companies. A significant portion of Benwell's personal investment portfolio is composed of the target company stock, which Benwell did not disclose. Based on IMA statement of ethical professional practice, Benwell would be in the violation of. So he was in something which he had to. What he had to do is nothing but he had his personal investment portfolio is composed of the target company stock. So is it an arisal of conflict of interest? Yes, because there is conflict of interest, right? Because he's having interest in which he wants the company to get into. So when it is conflict of interest, there's only one standard which comes into picture, that's integrity. Fine. Now moving on towards the next one. The formal, I hope you guys are pausing it, answering it yourself. If you're answering it yourself, you'll get more clarity. If you're just going on watching it, it's not going to benefit you at all. It's not going to benefit at all unless you answer it yourself. The formal code of ethical conduct for a company should do all of the following, except what it should not do. Okay. Reflect only legal standards. Okay. When it comes only, I think so that this can be the answer. Provide guidance on compliance for domestic, so they do it. Effectively communicate values, they do it. Provide guidance on behalf of employees when making decision, they do it. Only here, this only comes, it triggers that this can be the answer. Fine. Moving forward, a financial manager has discovered that her company is violating environmental regulations. If her immediate supervisor is involved, the appropriate action is to. If immediate supervisor is involved, present the matter to the next supervisor, next level supervisor. So where is that option? Where is that option? Yep, here it is. Blindly, you can go ahead with it. Now, relativism is the branch of moral philosophy that it actually denies. Now, relativism, let me just tell you that it is more of what you think is best. What you think is best, you just deny all the rules, regulations. So everyone should receive what is deserved, asserts what is derives, regards the moral good as. No, it can't be. It is this one only. All right, I hope you guys are getting it like this. Now, the last one, in accordance with the IMA statement of ethical professional practice, a member who fails to perform professional duties in accordance with relevant standards, in acting contrary to which one of the following standards it is. Now, not according to the standards, for sure it is competence, because if you are not according to the rules and regulations, you are not updated with the rules regulations as such, then you're violating competence. All right, so I hope you guys have got it right, and you guys are enjoying doing and reading these and practicing these questions. I hope that you've got all right. If you not got all right, then for sure there are chances that there is always scope to learn from it. So what you need to do is learn from your mistakes, go through that what happened wrong, go through your access, online access, go through the study text. If suppose you're not able to do that, and then if you're not in my classes, then what you need to do is nothing but join into my classes, because that would be the best for you, for your preparation, so that you can give your best shot on it. All right, so thank you very much for doing this. Let's go ahead with the next one. By then, I'm ending this session. All right, thank you very much for watching. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and share it with your CMA friends.